SFRC Online.
In this module, I will demonstrate how to set up a prism over a point to be used as a backsite for a total station. The point we've chosen to set up over is on the north lawn, and as you can see down here, it's set into the ground as a monument. For this setup, we'll use three pieces of equipment: a prism, a tribrac, and a tripod. The first element that we'll set up is the tripod, as you can see right here. The first thing you want to do is unhook the strap at the bottom. This allows the legs to be opened up. As you come up to the point, you want to center the legs over the point. As you see that we have latches here on the side, these, when opened, allow the legs to be adjusted. When all three latches are open, you want to lift up the tripod to about chest height. Depending on the application, if you're using a GPS receiver or other instruments, you may want to go higher or lower. In this case, as a rule of thumb, go to about chest height. When you've risen it up this high, go ahead and latch down all the legs. Then you want to spread out the tripod over the point. You want to try to get it as close as over the point as possible and as level as possible, but just kind of do it as best as you can. At this point, we're going to take the prism, which has been attached to the tribrac. On the tribrac, just to show you a few of the elements, you have adjustment screws or leveling screws. These allow the tribrac to be adjusted over the point. As you can see, there's a center line on each of these screws. You want to start out by making sure all of these leveling screws are tightened just up to that point, as you can see here. Once all the screws are about centered, you want to go ahead and place it on to the pair of legs. You want to center it on the top of the tripod, with each point of the tribrac matching up with each point of the tripod. Once it's centered, you want to reach under the tripod to the screw, lift it up a little bit, and then screw in the tribrac. Now that we've secured the tribrac to the tripod, we want to see how centered we are over the point. To do this, we're going to look through the optical plummet that's on the tribrac. The optical plummet has an eyepiece that comes out of the side. When you look through the optical plummet, you're actually looking directly center, straight down from the tripod. The optical plummet has two focus knobs. The outer focus knob focuses a black circle target that you see as you look through. This is what you want to focus first. What you're doing is simply getting that black circle into focus. After you've done that, you want to turn the inner focus knob. That focuses the ground and also the point. Once you've done those few things, then we'll show you how to center it over the point. Now that you have the ground focused in view, you want to place your foot with the toe pointed to the point, as you can see down below. As you're looking through the optical plummet, grab two legs, lift it up, and center the tripod over the point. The shoe is there for reference. A lot of times, especially if the point is a small nail, you won't be able to see exactly where it is. So if you use your shoe as a reference, that's usually pretty easy to find. Once you find your shoe, it should guide you straight to the point. Once you have it centered over the point, you want to make sure the legs are secure into the ground. By holding onto the tripod, step on all the legs, and make sure they're secure into the ground. The grass is a nice place to set up because you do get a firm hold. If you set up over concrete or sidewalks, a lot of times it's a little less secure, and so you want to find maybe a groove or a crack in the sidewalk that the legs can go in for more security. Once the legs of the tripod are secure into the ground, you want to check to see how centered you are over the point again. To do this, you'll look through the optical plummet and use the leveling screws to center that target over the point. The next step is to level the equipment using only 2 of the legs and using the adjustment knobs on each of the legs. As you look at the level bubble, you want to take one leg, place it at the base, one of your legs, take it at the base of one of the tripod legs, lift up the adjustment knob. This allows this leg to move. As you move up and down, you'll see the bubble change. When you're making this adjustment, you want to get the bubble in line with the second leg that you're going to be adjusting. Once that bubble is in line with this leg, lock down the adjustment knob. Come over to the second leg, repeat the same procedure for this leg. Lifting up the adjustment knob and adjusting it so that the bubble is centered. If the bubble can't be centered using this adjustment of this leg, again, you want to get it as close, you want to get the bubble as close to be in line as this leg as possible. You may have to repeat these 2 steps a few times. Alternating from each leg of the tripod. Again, only use 2 legs. You don't need to use the third leg. Once you feel that you've gotten the bubble as level as possible using these 2 legs, you're going to want to use the leveling screws on the tri-brack to make a fine level adjustment. When you do this, the 2 far leveling screws out from you, you want to turn in opposite directions at the same time. As you do this, depending on your direction, it will move the bubble to your left and to your right. Do this until the bubble is centered left and right. The leveling screw closest to you, you can turn, and that will allow the bubble to move front and back. After that step, the bubble should be centered, or should be level. The next step, after you've gotten your setup completely level, is you want to check to make sure now that you're still centered over the point. To do this, you're going to look through the optical plummet again. As you're looking through, you're going to loosen the adjustment screw and move the tri-brack. As you move the tri-brack, try not to rotate it, only make direct movements in one direction. Once you're centered over the point and you've tightened the screw again, do another check to make sure that you're still level. Using the leveling screws, make adjustments as needed. Do one more check to make sure that you're still centered over the point. And those last few steps, as far as using the fine adjustment screws or the fine leveling screws and checking to see if you're centered, you may have to do those a couple times till you get it down. Once you've completed that, you're level and you're centered directly over the point. The last step to do when using a prism is you want to make sure the prism is turned in the right direction towards your total station. If the total station is set up in that direction, you're going to twist this adjustment knob Loosen it up, and that'll allow the prism to rotate. Rotate the prism in the direction that you want it to face directly, and then tighten that screw. And that's it.